Why, howdy everybody, and welcome to another video brought to you by Jack, VintageElectronicsGeek.com. Or should I say, welcome to Jack TV, where all things is Jack. I don't know, kind of works. Hey, today I just want to show you some junk that I bought. I do have more junk coming in the mail, and we'll demo that when it happens. I did receive another item today, but because it's a super cool item that I've been waiting for a year to demo, I'll make it its own very special video. There's the Die Hard teaser. Hopefully you could live until that time happens. Today we're going to look at 3 items, just kind of a quick brief overlook. This is actually my second time shooting this video. The first one took, an hour to shoot, and it's like, that's retarded. I'm going to redo it. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm going to just glaze over what's happening as opposed to in-depth. We'll do in-depth at a later time. First item I bought that's on the bench is this Toner 2. This is made by Helper Instruments. This is from the late 70s. What is it, you wonder? Well, I'm glad you asked, because now I'm going to tell you exactly what it be like. Alright, that's my poor rendition of Ebonics. Enough of that. You're looking at the Toner 2, not to be confused with the Toner 1 or the Toner 3, but it is the Toner 2 made by Helper Instruments Inc. Ain't that a cool logo? Some of you will recognize it. Some of you will recognize the name brand. For those that work in or work on communication transceivers, this is an item of interest. Those that work on things other than CB or HF rig, VHF, UHF, or Super HF, SHF, then this is probably what you want to dork with, maybe. Who knows? Who cares? This device here will show you the PL tone that you're receiving, and we'll display it on the display here. Self-explanatory with the display thing, right? We have here some bandpass filters. 250 or less than 250, less than 1K, and less than 10K. I did some benchmark on this, and I find this to display a frequency from about, well, I forgot now, the beginning. I want to say somewhere around 40 hertz on all the way up to 10,000 kilohertz. And as of such, it doubles as a frequency counter apparently, because I used my function generator to run through the band plan and it worked just fine. As you can see here, we're looking at a 1.7K frequency, and I drop it down there to a 172 hertz frequency. And you see it's displaying exactly what it's showing on my function generator, which you cannot see. So I'm going to drop that down. Now we're at 17 hertz. And as you see, it's having issues. So let me drop that down, and then we'll move on to the next thing, or bring that up. And that's exactly where I'm at on my function generator, 21.5 hertz. Roughly, let's say 20 hertz all the way up to 10,000 hertz. Pretty decent little frequency counter, if nothing else. Let's move on to the next item, shall we? Next up on the workbench is this digital watt meter from VictorVid. This, I haven't dated it yet, but I suspect it's from late 70s, early, maybe mid 80s at the most. This is a digital watt meter, benchtop style. I bought this to replace this, although this does the job, does just fine. For my need in my workbench area, this is really challenging to access. So to me, it made great sense to move away from portable devices and go into a bench device. And as many of you know, I've commented several times and even showed you my great big workbench. It's extremely, extremely small. So I'm going to do a juggling balance act into trying to get all my new equipment in. As stated, I think I stated, I do have more equipment coming in. Not sure where all that's going. I'll figure it out when it gets here. But I definitely wanted to get away from the handheld devices. To me, I found them to be a challenge, eating up my precious resource of my tiny, tiny little workbench. You see this right here. That's my workbench. Coming out a little bit and in front of my scope just a hair. So really tight. So I need all the space I can get. This is where this came in handy. Have that plugged into my variable isolation thing. You know what it's called. I forgot what it's called. Variable isolation transformer. Easy for you to say because it ain't for me. We have amperage. We've got wattage. And as you can see, it very easily states 150 volts RMS, 10 amps RMS, and 1000 watts maximum. We also have on the back of this another dedicated power port. I'll get into this another day. Need to open all these devices up, take a peek at them, and I'm sure I'm going to need to service them. We'll get that. We'll show you that in the next meter. Next device. I don't know why I can't talk today. Onward and awkward. Next item I picked up is a Sencore FC45 frequency counter. This is good from 30 kilohertz all the way up to 230 megahertz, and it's highly sensitive. So you can't hurt its feelings or it'll cry. Just be fair warned. I bought this to couple with my signal generator. I find at times working on items I may need my other benchtop frequency counter, and it's like, gosh, it sure would be nice to have a dedicated freak counter for my signal generator. And so this is where this came in to play and the thought process behind this. Didn't realize this was going to be quite as large as it is. It is pretty large, but it'll work. As you see here, it reads highly sensitive, and so I'm really hoping that it is, because then I could use it also to maybe RF sniff or something like that. We'll find out. It's not 100% perfect. This display, as you see, is out. So I'll need to replace that, and honestly, I may just go ahead and swap them all out. If I'm in there once, I might as well do them all. But we'll see realistically what kind of a challenge that may be. It says that it's sensitive. I'm just going to plug in this VHF, UHF scanner antenna from Radio Shack, and yes, it's vintage. Not even going to put it vertically. I'm just going to leave it horizontally. And we got it on 50 ohm, so we need to put this on 50 ohm, and we need to put that there, and we got it on 1 second, nothing. But I could also have nothing happening in my area. Let's plug this in the other side. Have to be careful. This jack, you remove it, and that's where your fuse is at. One of your fuses. And so it just came off when I undid that. So there we got a little movement. Yeah, not bad. As you see here on the front, we also have a provisions to plug in crystals from 1 to 20 megahertz on the fundamentals, and it's very probable to do harmonics as well. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and plug in I've got this plugged into my function generator. Function generator's at 21.4 hertz. I know, yes, I'm plugged into the wrong side. Let's go to 1 second. And de nada. I'm going to go through this and check it all out. I'm sure a recap is in order. This is from 1985-ish, I believe. Alright, so let's go ahead and put it on this port. Switch that over to 50 ohm. Drop this down to 30. And we'll put this at 0.1 second. And nothing. Now, yes, I know it says 30 hertz here. The book said that you could actually go to down to 10 hertz. So I'm not getting that. Let me put a square wave into that. Alright, if I do a square wave, I do get a little activity. And I have that turned on up as high as it can go, amplitude wise. So here we are at 215 hertz. Let me jump up to 1 kilo. Actually, I'm at 2.14. That's 21 kilo. So that should be reading 215 hertz. Or 2 hertz, 21 hertz, 215 hertz. Let me plug the signal generator in. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching my little cheesy video. As soon as I get the others in, we'll check it all out. Anyway, that will conclude it for this video. Again, I appreciate it. Talk to you later. See you in the next one. Bye.